Hi guys, it's SimLicy here, so welcome to another speed build, sort of. It's more of a speed furnishing video, but today I am furnishing the homes that I built very recently. I called the lot two, or one lot, two homes, I believe, but either way, as that suggests, there are two houses on one lot. The first one that I'm furnishing is this yellow house that has 3 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms, and then the next one that I furnish is a 1 bedroom, 1 bathroom house. And so I asked you guys for ideas on the Sims that should be living in these homes, and I got some really great suggestions, and my favorite one, as well as I think most of your guys' favorite suggestions because it had the most thumbs up, was a comment from Nakia Cole 9078. I'm sorry if I'm saying that incorrectly, because I probably am, but they said, love this build, big house, single dad of a teen and a child, a pet dog, who work in a medical career trying to be the best dad after mother walked out on children. And then for the small house, single woman who is a mechanic just getting by, maybe could find a friendship with the kind dad next door, and then love story possibly. And so I love that idea because I could just really envision like both households so perfectly. And this lot will be playable with the For Rent expansion pack as 2 separate homes. But of course, if you don't get that expansion pack, you can still play in both homes, but all of the Sims will be part of your household. But I still think it would be a fun like household to play in. But anyways, so I was kind of thinking about these Sims, and I think the dad, like they said, is like a very loving dad. That's why I decided to put like games and stuff in the living room, because I think he's always trying to make family time and really bond with his children. And the mother that walked out, I think she just didn't see this life working out the way that she had wanted to. I think she wants a more glamorous life. She, I think, wanted just basically more money, nicer house, maybe even a different husband. Maybe her husband, who's in the medical career, didn't really turn out the way she had envisioned when they got married, and unfortunately she left the kids behind as well. But I think that he is maybe like a medical assistant at the moment, and he's probably going to school and studying a lot, and she just thought this is never going to happen. He's never actually going to become a doctor. But I think just around the corner is like his big break. He's going to finish school. He's going to get maybe offered a position as a full-time physician or something like that. I think it's like just around the corner, but she couldn't wait and she couldn't see anything actually ever happening, because maybe it's been like a long time. Maybe it's been like 10 plus years or something of him interning, going to school, and just working like small jobs that don't really pay that much. And so I think I tried to represent that in the home. I tried to not really add like fancy furniture. I tried to make it feel more like a modest home, but a realistic home, just like a regular family home that has regular furniture. And you know, everything doesn't necessarily match. Some things are outdated, some things are a little bit tattered, but it's still a nice home and it feels like lived in and cozy. And so I really think that the mom just couldn't wait around. She was ready for life to be glamorous now, so she left. So that's my idea for that anyways. And then for the kids, I think the teenager I imagined was a teenage boy, and I think he's a bit edgy, a bit kind of like probably hurt by the whole situation. And so I tried to reflect that in the bedroom, just tried to make it a bit darker. But I think he really likes sports and really likes music and video games and those sorts of things. And I think the father in this household also really likes sports. I tried to decorate the garage as like his space. So I put some exercise equipment in there. I put a piano, and then I also put some like rock climbing stuff on the wall. And so I was thinking he really enjoys music. He plays the piano, but he likes to exercise. So there's the workout equipment, but he also loves like exercise like outdoors, so like hiking and rock climbing and maybe like snowboarding, those sorts of activities. So I put that stuff in there, and that's kind of where I was thinking he bonds with the neighbor next door. So the lady next door is a mechanic, and I think she is a mechanic because maybe she grew up with like a dad that was a mechanic, and she just like was always in the garage with him, and she was just really handy, and so she just kind of always kept doing that, and she loves it. She loves like classic cars, and she really wants to maybe like I don't know, start her own like business. Right now I think she works for somebody else, but I think she really wants to like get her own business where she like fixes up classic cars. But of course, I mean, cars aren't necessarily a thing in The Sims 4, but maybe someday they will be. But I tried to make the carport area look like she's been like working on this old car, but really it's just like a frame of a car. So you guys will see that in a little while. But I was thinking that after the mom left of this household, that the dad in this house was talking to the neighbor next door, and he had never really paid her any attention. He's like, yeah, she's pretty enough, but he, I don't know, never really saw her as his type because she's always a bit dirty or grungy, and maybe he does like fancier looking women, and that's why he was attracted to the mother of this household to begin with. And yeah, he just never really paid her much attention. But one day they were talking, maybe over the fence or something, just randomly, maybe it's about something in the neighborhood. I don't know what it is exactly. But they got to talking about, I think, exercise, because I decided to put a yoga mat by her front door, and I think she is like very into like having an active lifestyle, and he didn't really realize that about it, like about her before. And maybe he realized that they had more in common than he had ever thought, because maybe they've only ever said hi before or talked briefly. They never really had an actual conversation, but for whatever reason, this particular day, they actually spent some time talking to one another, and they found that they actually had more in common, and so they just start talking more often. Maybe he invites her over for coffee sometime. I don't know. Maybe they run into each other at the grocery store, whatever the story may be, and they just start kind of like clicking and getting to know each other. But I think it's a slow process. I don't think it's very quickly. Maybe even if you just decide to play in this, like the storyline, they're friends for a while. But I do think a love story develops, and he just starts to see her in a whole new light that he never had before. So, and then he becomes a doctor and gives her everything that she's ever dreamed of, and yeah, they end up having a fantastic life. So, I don't know. I thought that was kind of fun, and I really just enjoyed that comment. So thank you. I really appreciate that. That was so much fun for me. And yeah, I hope to get more suggestions from you guys in the future for other builds that I decorate. But anyways, I've been talking through the whole interior, but I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. I'm just trying to make it feel cozy, lived in. This is the dad's bedroom. As I mentioned in the previous speed build of the like shell and everything of the house, I wasn't sure if this room was going to be big enough for a double bed. I think it is. I mean, I know The Sims can get by, and I think it'll work pretty well, just because the walk-in closet really doesn't take up that much space, and the doors don't open outward, they just slide, and so your Sims should still be able to access it no problem, and the bed and everything. But yeah, I'll double check before uploading it to the gallery just to make sure I don't need to tweak anything. But yeah, I'm really happy that I was able to keep the closets, and it's a bit snug, but I don't know, somehow feels realistic to not have like a big oversized grand bedroom. And I really like the walk-in closets, especially in this house for some reason. But anyways, this is going to be the child's room of the house, and for this child, I was thinking it was a little girl, and I think she is just quite hilarious and really into art, and just kind of like a goofy, spunky, big personality child. It's kind of what I was thinking. And so yeah, I just tried to add decorations that I thought were cute and kind of fun. I used lots of stars and pinks and different purples, and just kind of just tried to make it feel playful and colorful. I really struggled with picking out a bed that I wanted to use in here, so I ended up just going for this one. I wish it didn't have a white frame and white bedding. It's just very white on white. So what I ended up doing is adding a pillow, and I forget the name of the kit that came with, but you'll see it here in just a moment. But it had stars on it, so it kind of tied in with some of the other decorations that I was using in here. And yeah, I just used the tool mod to place it exactly where I wanted to. This is the pillow that I'm talking about. So just added a bit of color to the bed. I don't know, I wanted to use the pink bedding on this particular bed, but it was just like such a bright pink that it just felt too much for me. I don't know. Maybe there was another bed that would have worked well that I was overlooking, but I just went with this one. But you could easily swap it out for a different one if you guys see one or find one that you think works better in here. But yeah, over here I'm just adding some decorations to the walls, adding some clutter to the nightstand, just trying to make it feel lived in and decorated and all of those sorts of things, of course. And I do rotate the pillow slightly. I don't think you'll see it on camera. I think I cut that part out, but I just rotate the pillow with the tool mod so the other pillow isn't poking through, because it wasn't lined up exactly right, but yeah, it should be fine. Anyways, over here is going to be the teenager's bedroom. So like I was saying, I think the teenager is pretty hurt by their mother leaving. I think yeah, I just tried to basically reflect that in the colors in the room, but I also just kind of like making grungier teen rooms. They're really fun for me. And so having like the gray and the green and the black, just, I don't know, I just like that style for teens. So I gave this teenager a computer. I also put a TV in here with a video game monitor, so the teen can sit in this chair, play some video games, or sit on their bed probably and play video games. I'm not really sure exactly how that works, but yeah, I just put a little table over here with one of these old TVs on it. I think these TVs function. I don't know, they came with the basement kit, and at first I thought they didn't function, but I mean, they're in the TV category, so I assume they function. Hopefully they do. But anyways, I love the style of them. I had a TV just like this in my bedroom when I was a kid. It only got like 2 channels. The rest of them were completely fuzzy, but I mean, my parents only got TV from like an antenna, so we didn't have like a satellite dish or cable or anything, so it was just whatever it could pick up. But I remember being able to watch like Sesame Street when I was a kid on it, and OPB, which is the Oregon Public Broadcasting, and that's where I grew up, was in Oregon. And so I'd get to watch some things on there sometimes. But yeah, anyways, that's it for the entire interior of this house. Just putting some light switches around. I think I forgot to put light switches in the second house, but if you like them, you could definitely add them. And then here on the front porch, I wanted to add like some decorations, but I didn't want it to be like overly decorated. I just didn't really see that for this household. But I did put a toy box out here with some toys. I thought that the child sim liked to play outside a lot, so I put some toys on the front. And then I also put this arts and crafts table outside, as well as a school project in the yard. And then I do reconfigure some of this space a little bit, so it's not going to be exactly the same exterior as before, because I do switch a few things around. I decided to make the concrete area a little bit bigger, just so I could fit an outdoor dining table and just have like basically more space. I don't know, I just didn't really like the way it was looking, so I switched it up a little bit and I like it a little bit better now. And yeah, I like the outdoor dining table. I felt like there really needed to be one back here, and maybe this is where they sit and have coffee for the first time. Maybe she doesn't actually go into the house or anything. Maybe she just comes and sits back here, has a cup of coffee, maybe some snacks that he made, and they just chit chat and realize all of the wonderful things that they have in common and that they were made for each other. Oh, I think that's such a fun idea. But anyways, over here is the garage space. So like I was saying, I think the garage space is definitely mostly for the dad. It has some clutter over here, like this bucket of sports toys that I imagined was the son's. Maybe the daughter uses them sometime, but I definitely think the son is more into those sorts of sports. Then I put a woodworking table just to basically have a garage item. Over here I have this electrical box, and I'm actually blocking part of the fence that is coming in through the wall because it's like glitching through, but I end up actually using this shelf that came from Strangerville instead to block it, and then I moved the electrical box over. I think this shelf is great for garages just because it has like garage looking stuff on it. Oh yeah, I was thinking the dad was also into fishing, so I put a fishing thing up in the bedroom, and then in here I have some fishing stuff, and then there's the rock climbing equipment. And yeah, I don't know, I was just trying to find things that felt like they belonged in a garage, but also felt like they belonged in sort of like quote unquote man cave sort of area. Because I really think he spends a lot of time in here, probably more when his wife was still living here, because I don't think they got along very well. So he's like, I'm just gonna go out to the garage and be alone and away from you because you're always yelling at me or, you know, nitpicking me or whatever. And now that she's gone, I think he still hangs out in here, but not as much, because he is trying to really make sure that his kids feel loved and wanted and needed. So he's maybe overdoing it. Maybe they feel a little bit like like it's too much, but I think he's doing his best and really trying to be a good dad. But yeah, I'm just adding a few more boxes and clutter pieces in here, and then this is pretty much it for this build. Oh yeah, I had a little mini fridge in here. I think that's like a fun thing to include in a garage space. And then yeah, that's it for that house. And then over here is going to be the single lady mechanic who is just getting by. So her house, I really tried to make it feel like she doesn't have the nicest stuff. The home is a bit cheaper, a little bit more run down. She's trying to add her own like touch and make it feel cozy and a little bit feminine. I think she's more feminine than she actually comes off. She looks quite masculine, not necessarily in her appearance, but the way she dresses and presents herself, just because of like the career that she's been in, and maybe people that she's like associated herself with. It just kind of comes across in her personality, but she does like some girly things, and so I tried to show that here in this house. So hopefully it comes across the right way, and hopefully it makes sense and everything. But in the kitchen area, I decided to do a combination between the base game cabinets and the ones that came from City Living. The ones that are from City Living are really worn and kind of dirty looking, but the base game ones are cleaner. And so I thought if I mixed them up, it would look like some of the cabinets were more worn than others, but it wasn't like an entirely old rundown kitchen. So that's kind of what I was going for. But I really like the way the kitchen turned out. I think it ended up having more space than I thought it would. And I just tried to add some clutter pieces, not too much though, because there was really only one counter the Sims could work with. And I don't think that microwave is functional, by the way. The way I did the counters, I placed 2 regular counters over top of each other to fill in that corner space rather than using a corner cabinet, just because with the half wall, it was gonna have this part that stuck up on the back, and it was gonna stick up past the half wall, and it just did not look right. And then I kind of liked the placement of the microwave that way, and so I just left it alone. But of course, if you want the microwave to function, then you'll have to change that. But I don't know, I like the way it looked. And then over here is going to be the living room space. So for the living room, I used this really cool rug. I think it came from Strangerville, if I'm remembering correctly. Maybe it might have came from a different pack, but either way, I really liked it in here. I thought it gave it kind of like a cool like 70s feel, and I thought it looked nice with this couch and everything. And I do end up using the pillows that came from the Modern Luxe kit just to add a little bit more of a decoration on the couch and make it have a little bit more of that feminine touch that I was talking about, because the pillows are quite fancy, but I think the colors that I ended up using made them match in this apartment and not feel like overly fancy or anything. And then over here I'm using this bookcase that came from the basement kit. I'm forgetting the name of it, but anyways, I like this bookshelf because it's kind of broken and a little bit more run down, but I thought it just worked in here so nicely, and I just added some extra clutter. Then here I'm adding that yoga mat that I was talking about by the front door. So I think she is quite active. I think she really enjoys going to the gym, doing yoga, doing those sorts of things. I think she's probably like out jogging sometimes. And I think the dad next door never really noticed that she would like go out jogging. And once he does, he's like, oh, like I would love to go jogging with her. Maybe he likes the way she looks in her running clothes. I don't know. That's kind of what I was thinking anyways. Over here, I'm adding some decorations to the refrigerator just to make it feel more lived in, basically. Just a postcard and some little sticky notes. The sticky notes are a debug item that you can find from Parenthood in case you guys aren't recognizing them. And then the postcards just base game, but it's also debug. Over here is a dining table. I just put 2 seats at it because there really wasn't like a lot of space to add like a bunch of chairs, and I kind of ran into the same thing in the other house. I probably could have put the table in the center of the room. You may have noticed I was messing around with that, but I decided just to put it up against the wall and just have 3 chairs. I mean, there's only 3 Sims in the house anyways, but if you wanted more Sims, you could probably rearrange that area a little bit and make more room for it. You could also maybe get rid of the washer and dryer space in the bathroom down there and then have a room for a larger dining space. So there's definitely some possibilities to mess with that, I think. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the entire living area here in this house. And then over here is going to be the bathroom. So only bathroom in this build. It's very small, and it didn't function when I was playtesting it, because I did playtest this room. Maybe I the master bedroom in the next house too. I don't know, I'll double check. But anyways, I couldn't get the shower or the sim to get to the shower the way I have it placed now, so I do move the toilet, I think, slightly over. But either way, I got it to work. Yeah, I've moved it along this wall, so I had to actually move it back to the other wall when play testing it, and then that seemed to work fine. So even though it's a small bathroom and everything seems a bit cramped in here, it does function in the end, but I did have to make like a few tweaks. But I'm not sure if you'll see that in the screenshots, but it'll definitely be that way uploaded to the gallery. But yeah, over here I'm just adding some towels. I love those towels so much. They came in the like clutter kit, right? I don't know, there's so many kits now, I can't keep them straight in my mind anymore. But I like those towels because they're a little bit like messier looking. So they're super fun to use. But over here is going to be her bedroom, and I thought this bed was great because it matched like the colors in this build, but it had the flowers on the pillows, so it kind of added a little bit of a feminine touch, but not overly feminine. Like, I don't think she wears like a lot of makeup and stuff, but I think she does like some more girly things, and she does like to wear maybe dresses sometimes. Maybe not dresses, I don't know, but she does like flowers and like pretty paintings and stuff like that. But yeah, I don't know, I really enjoyed this build. I hope you guys have enjoyed it too. I'm gonna add the final few decorations and then we're on to the screenshots. So as always, thank you guys so much for watching, and please leave any comments or suggestions you have, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.